In this video, I'm going to talk to you about your final project, and I put it here in week 15 because you do need to start working on it, even though it won't be due until whenever our final is due. So it has two components. You are going to create a presentation, and you're going to create an audio voiceover reflection with VoiceThread, and then share that with the class. And so I put the specifics here if you want to go there to look at that. I have made it very specific about what you need to do, and it's all written out there for you. But I wanted to just kind of explain it. And if you would like to follow along and brainstorm some ideas for your final while I'm talking about it, I think that would be fine. So let's first talk about the presentation. So this final VoiceThread is going to be focused on 5 of the 7 ISTE standards. And so you're going to be reflecting on how you have met these standards throughout the semester, what projects that you've done, and also how you're going to continue to meet those in the future, in your future teaching. And so you only have to choose 5 of them though. So on the presentation is going to be very minimal. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want you to actually talk to me about your reflection on a VoiceThread presentation instead of just having a whole bunch of words on a presentation itself. And so you're going to choose 5 of the 7 standards. You're going to choose 1 or more images to represent each. So if you choose a learner, you might have, kids around a computer, you around a computer. I mean, just lots of different things, whatever would represent a learner to you. And you can have a collage of pictures, so you can have more than one. And then you also need to have no more than 10 words per slide. And you cannot have a picture that has a whole bunch of words on it. And the reason I'm doing that, again, I want you to focus on the visual representation, and then your voice on the recording is going to be how you explain what you've met. And how you've met that standard to me. The other thing that you do need to do is, as I'll explain a little bit later, you're going to have to give me 2 different ways that you have met this standard throughout the semester, and you need to have links to artifacts in the notes section on each slide. So this is the notes section on your slide. So if I'm going to choose my teacher interview and my building your PLN project, okay, I would actually highlight those and link them, give the link in the present or in the notes itself. And the reason I do that is because when I'm grading your presentation, I have direct access to those things instead of having to go find them on your website or in your shared folder. So you do need to include those as well. Okay, so let's get started on doing, I just told you this. On the audio voiceover, you're going to reflect, and you're going to have 3 parts on each slide. So the very first part for ISTE 1, let's just go to that example. You're going to explain the standard in your own words, which means you are not going to just read what the ISTE says that standard is about. You're really going to think about what it means to you in your own words, and then proof that you've met the standard, 2 ways for each one. And that's where I was talking about the notes in the links to them in the center, in the speaker notes, sorry. And then the third thing you're going to include on each slide is in the audio voiceover is how you're going to continue to meet these standards in your own future, in your own classroom. All right, so let's go through an example together. Let's choose ISTE 1. And so for the very first part of the audio voiceover, you're going to explain the standard in your own words. So the first thing I would recommend is going to the standards themselves and reviewing them, reacquainting yourself with what they are, and really thinking about what are the most important words that stand out in that standard. So educators continually improve their practice by learning from and with others and exploring proven and promising practices that leverage technology to improve student learning. So what stands out to me here is continually improve. In other words, they never stop learning. But what is really another important part is They do it to improve student learning. So they're not doing it to just improve their overall skills. They actually have a purpose for this because it improves student learning. And so if you want to read through these bullet points down here too and pick some out, those are that would be a good direction to go. So we explore and apply. You pursue professional interests. Oh, this is really important, by participating in local and global learning networks. Okay, so if I were you, I'd be taking some notes about what are the most important things, because these can be your talking points if you want to have them for your explanation of the standard itself. But I think I'm going to focus on continually improve and student learning networks and stay current. So those are going to be my 4 kind of touch points that I'm going to focus on. Okay, so how would you summarize that in your own words or in about 2 or 3 sentences? So you could start with ISTE 1 is all about being a learner. So you need to have that somewhere within your voiceover. So ISTE 1 is all about being a learner. This means to me that teachers should continually improve themselves, but they should do it to improve student learning. You should participate in local and global networks in order to increase my knowledge as a teacher. And I also will continue to stay current on research because that's really important. Okay, that was a little wordy. It doesn't have to be that much, but that you need to include something about what ISTE 1 means to you. It means to me that, and then go forward. The next thing you're going to include on each one of your slides for your VoiceThread voiceover is proof that you've met the standard. So what are 2 ways that you have met the standard? So I would look back on the tentative schedule. I would look at your discussions that you had, your Google shared folder to remind yourself of the projects. Or I would just go over here to your project descriptions. What have you done that proves that you're a learner? Definitely building your PLN. You have reached out to other people. You've joined communities. You follow people on Twitter. That could definitely be one. Another one that some students have done in the past is this teacher interviews one. So they have reached out to other teachers and learned from those experts. Also, I mean, a lot of the things, pedagogical research presentation, whenever you researched those different innovative pedagogies and you presented that to the class, that could be another proof that you're still a learner. So you value that research and staying current. Okay, so you need to choose 2 of those, and you need to make sure that you tie it directly back to the standard. So building my PLN proves that I am a learner because I am including others, reaching out to local and global networks and reaching out to people who I know can help me stay current and learn things that are new and fresh in the world of education or in my content area. Okay, so make sure to directly connect it back to the standard that you're talking about. Okay. And that, again, is where you need to put those links into the notes section of that slide. The third thing that you're going to include in your VoiceThread on each slide is future plans for your own teaching in classrooms. So, and I want you to be specific with this. Don't just say, I'm going to keep using Twitter. Don't say that. Looking back, so you're going to look back on ISTE 1. So if I say that I met it by building my PLN, or if I say that I met it by doing that pedagogy research, think about now what that means for your teaching. What will you do to continue to be a learner? So I might say, in the future, I plan to continue to add other English language arts teachers to my PLN by participating in the secondary ELA chat. And following others that I find within that chat. For the pedagogy research presentation, I might say, in the future, I plan to implement these innovative technology or innovative pedagogies into my classroom and attend conferences to learn even more opportunities to improve my pedagogy. Okay, so future plans need to relate back to the proof that you had and how it relates to your standard. And that is it. And so I anticipate that you will have some questions about this project, because it is kind of, before you kind of wrap your mind around it, it might be a little bit daunting, but I thought using this video would help you to kind of wrap your mind around what you need to do. So back over on the course website, part 1, I specified exactly what slides you need to have for each one, and I wrote it out. Remember to do an image resource slide as well. Remember to put your presentation in your Google shared folder. The other thing I did for part 2 for the VoiceThread voiceover, I put some information here to help you learn how to do VoiceThread. I actually created a little video here to help you know how to upload your presentation and also do an audio voiceover. So this should help. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to just let me know. And so this video really is just to get you started on your final presentation.